This was me back in March of 2023, and this is me at the beginning of January of this year. 9 months and a 60-pound difference. Today, I wanted to talk about my transformation.
What was involved, how often I was going to the gym, what I was doing in the gym, what I was eating, all of that. With that, let's get into it. Actually, we need to go a little bit farther back than that for all this to make sense. So let's go back all the way to December of 2018. This was me back in 2018, and at the time I was still working for Rob Ferretti, another automotive YouTuber.
Towards the end of the year though, things had started to get a bit slow, so I decided to take up an old passion of mine from high school, weightlifting.
I weighed 132 pounds here, and somewhere in my head I decided that 200 pounds was a good number to hit. My thought was, since I wasn't posting on this channel at the time, I was just doing Rob's videos, I thought maybe I could make a huge comeback video on my channel and I would have my crazy mohawk and I'd be jacked. So to get back into lifting, I went to my local Retro Fitness, which was the closest large fitness center that was nearby my place at the time, and I got myself a membership. But what did I do in the gym? You know, did I do like a PPL, like a push-pull leg split? Did I do a bro split? Was I doing full body? You know, what was I doing? Nothing good.
Besides paying attention to a few core movements like bench press, squat, or things like lat pull downs, basically the stuff I remember from high school, I knew very little about muscle growth.
I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just started going 5 days a week, and basically whatever I ended up finding when I would look up on YouTube, like best chest workout, or best back workout, or best leg workout, and I'd see stuff from like Jeff Nippard, like the scientifically proven best workout for whatever the muscle group was. I also remember back then I watched a lot of Athlean X stuff, so Jeff Cavalier, and I would screenshot his workouts to look at them when I was in the gym. But I never really followed a set in stone plan. I kind of just did whatever felt good, and I kept training until I couldn't train anymore. Now let's talk about my diet. What was I eating to put on weight and put on muscle? Well, it wasn't good. I ate a lot of Wendy's, a lot of McDonald's. I mean, almost every day I was eating some form of fast food to try and hit macros and put as much food into me as possible. But I was 20 years old, I was lazy, I didn't feel like actually doing the research or cooking at all. Another thing too, I didn't know meal prep companies existed. This was also 2018, so they were a little bit less known about as they are now, but I had no clue they even were a thing. So it was either cook or get some shit from a drive-thru. And after spending like 2 hours a day in the gym, 5 days a week, and eating copious amounts of trash to hit macros, to my surprise, I actually started gaining weight. I began to grow. And of course it wasn't all muscle. Some of it was just, intramuscular fullness, the fact that I was taking creatine, so I was holding more water. And of course, plenty of it was fat, but I didn't care. The scale was going up, man. Like, it was finally happening. Within a few weeks, my shirts started to get a little bit tighter. There were pairs of jeans that didn't fit me anymore. I remember there was a motorcycle suit, full motorcycle suit I had, that I didn't fit into anymore.
Despite seeing rapid progress, I took almost no photos of myself from this time. In fact, I don't even have a photo of myself inside that Retro Fitness.
I didn't really take any progress photos because, to be frank, I didn't really like what I saw in the mirror. Like, I thought maybe it would be worthwhile to post some photos or take some once something actually looked good there. The heaviest I seem to remember getting at that time was like 172 pounds, something around there, and that was at the end of the day. So realistically, maybe like 168 or 169 pounds. Then, come April of 2019, I had just moved back home to Maryland to pursue something new other than YouTube, and, well, life got real busy. Savage Garage happened. For those of you who know my past, you know what I'm talking about, but for those who are brand new, I met this guy named Randy, and we built this automotive YouTube channel called Savage Garage, where we kind of just played with exotic cars and went on adventures. Ton of fun. But we started traveling all the time, filming all the time, and unfortunately, it didn't really leave me any time to go to the gym anymore.
By October of 2019, I had completely stopped going to the gym, and by March of 2020, I was right back to where I started, if not even skinnier.
Fast forward to late 2021, this is where I had really begun to abuse Adderall, and I wasn't eating anything. But then we get to 2022 and things get real messy. Savage Garage falls apart, Randy took his own life, and I lost one of my best friends, Rachel. During that time, I was under so much stress, and I was at my absolute skinniest at that point. Like, I look back on some of the videos that I filmed, and I couldn't have been more than 132 pounds. My face was so sucked in. And that's how I was for kind of the rest of 2022. But 2023 was where things actually took a turn for the better. January and February were very rough. But after a little bit of, reevaluation, I decided to take some steps back and kind of take care of myself for once. There were many things I started to address from a health standpoint, but the main one, the one that's had the biggest impact on my life, was getting back in the gym. And this time, I decided to take photos. March 15th, 2023. The first photo was taken.
I started going to my local Planet Fitness. After I was done working on videos for the day, I'd head over here and lift for about an hour or so.
At first, I began going just 3 times a week, late in the evening after I was done with work, and kind of just training the muscle group that I wanted to. And my thought process was, yeah, it's probably not optimal, and this might not be the best way to go about doing things, but I figured if I eat more and I incorporate progressive overload, I should put on muscle or at least gain back what I had. And as I said, at first, I was just going to feel better throughout the day, have more energy, and just be healthier. But then, I started tracking my macros again, and I bought mass gainer protein powder again. And I started going to the gym more often so I could try and do a proper bro split. Instead of watching car videos, I started to watch fitness content again. People like Jeff Nippard and Renaissance Periodization and, Derek from More Plates, More Dates. I started being more consistent, writing my workouts down. I was eating healthier. And by the end of July, I had gotten back to about 168 pounds, right around where I was when I was still lifting consistently back in New Jersey years ago. August goes by, September, October, November. In December, I switched gyms and started going to a bodybuilding gym called Benefits Body Shop. I started going to the gym 5 days a week, and each day I was being trained by my trainer, and I was eating so much food. I still am eating a lot of food. But that brings us to right here. This is where I'm about 190 pounds.
60 pounds heavier than I was just about 9 months ago. Now, just to make something clear, I had woken up that day at about 188 pounds. So I wasn't 190 pounds in the morning, I was 190 pounds after this workout. I was holding a lot of water, had a really good pump, but regardless, the difference between March of 2023 and today is pretty drastic. Oh, and here's my back before and after. And finally, here's my legs. The photo on the left is from June, by the way. That's the earliest photo I have from last year because up until then I skipped leg day, just being honest.
So, that's it? You're telling me that you just trained hard and you ate a bunch of food, and although some of the gains you experienced this year were, muscle memory from stuff that you gained years ago, you're telling me that's all you did?
Well, there was one thing I left out here.
Back in mid-October, I got on testosterone replacement therapy, or as many people know it, TRT. Now, I'm gonna make another video talking about this because there's just so much to talk about with TRT. So the next video that you'll see here is why I got on TRT at kind of such a young age of 25. But most people who are watching this that are fitness people are going, oh, well, he's on TRT and that's why he gained all the weight that he did.
Not natural.
One of the things that commonly happens when a guy gets on TRT is an increase in muscle mass. So I'm sure some of the weight, besides just eating a lot of food, did come from that.
Something to keep in mind, since March, I've been in a calorie surplus. In theory, I should have been gaining weight regardless of the TRT, but I do remember a noticeable increase in pace once getting on. Good example, this is me November 9th on Instagram at 173 pounds. At this point, I had been on TRT for 3 weeks. And this is me on Instagram December 12th at 183 pounds. About 10 pounds in a month. It's pretty nuts. But there was one other component to this rapid weight gain.
According to the all-powerful Reddit, it's not that uncommon for people who hop on TRT to have an issue with their appetite, or it blunts it a little.
And that's what happened to me. About 3 weeks into TRT, I noticed that I didn't really have an appetite to eat anything.
So as someone who was trying to actively gain weight, this was a little bit of a problem.
With that, I reached out to my health coach over at Merrick Health, where I get my TRT, and I asked if using something like MK677 would be worth trying. And the answer ended up being yes.
Now, what is MK677? Well, I will let Derek from More Plates, More Dates explain that.
Ibutamoren, developmental code name MK677, what you probably know it as, is an orally active growth hormone, secretagogue, and ghrelin receptor agonist. Basically, a growth hormone secretagogue is simply a substance that signals the pituitary gland in your body to secrete more growth hormone. It is also a oral ghrelin mimetic. So ghrelin is the hunger hormone your stomach secretes in order to regulate your appetite. By artificially stimulating the secretion of that hormone, the body is tricked into being hungry, even when it wouldn't be otherwise.
So I started using MK677 at the beginning of November, and it drastically improved my appetite. It wasn't go through my entire pantry and eat everything in sight appetite, but it did allow me to put down the amount of calories I wanted to and have an appetite throughout the day that was kind of normal.
I ended up only being on it for 8 weeks. Due to a supply shortage, we didn't end up continuing it. Since coming off of it though, my appetite has come back to a normal level, so I'm not gonna get back on it if I don't need to. But that's it. That's my transformation from 130 to 190 pounds. Obviously, this wasn't a natural transformation. Again, I'll explain a bit more about why I need to get on TRT in the next video, but I think the majority of this absolutely could have been achieved naturally, given a bit more time in the gym.
So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope something from it, you can take and it's of value to you. Comment below what else you'd like to see. Stick around for the TRT video that'll come up next. And with all that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.